February begins with a new political upheaval. A mass exodus throws the Nazis and their allies into disarray, while tensions escalate and sensational headlines fill the air, blurring the lines between the serious and the farcical in a scene that reflects the turmoil of the era. This is the rise of Hitler. Berlin police ban the newspaper Der Angriff for allegedly inciting anti-Semitism. The Nazis respond by denouncing censorship and claiming that the state is trying to transform their paramilitary forces into a de facto, nameless army. In the background, events rewind to the previous month. Röhm returns to the forefront, assumes command of the paramilitary forces, and unveils plans to arm and expand them. Meanwhile, hundreds of thousands of miners fear losing their jobs, sparking protests that are met with repression as the recession deepens. Between the celebrations of the founding of the German Empire, Hitler holds secret meetings with military leaders. In January, he remains active, giving speeches, rallying support, and reshaping his vision. In a newspaper article, he asserts that Germany's future lies not in global trade, but in the East, and that its borders are no longer sufficient for its people. A few days later, he addresses an agricultural audience with a speech different in form, but the same in essence: self-sufficiency, land and liberation from foreign markets, even if it requires seizing new lands. On the 21st, the Nazis celebrate their move into their new headquarters, the Brown House. From a party without an office or staff, to a movement with the headquarters presented as a symbol of its will and rise. For them, this building is not just a piece of stone, but a clear declaration that they are no longer on the margins, and that they are preparing for a bigger stage ahead. The Nazis ask, who will see in this building the first and enduring symbol of our will and struggle? But the real battle is not in the streets, but in Parliament. Weimar, known for its anarchy, reaches a breaking point. Governments fall, votes of no confidence are frequent, and parliamentary paralysis has become a way of life. The democratic parties, with the exception of the Nazis and the Communists, decide to put an end to the chaos. Reforms tighten the conditions for votes of no confidence, impose financial transparency, and prevent the exploitation of parliamentary immunity to run inflammatory newspapers. The message is clear: no more chaos disguised as politics. The Nazis and Communists believe their joint walkout will paralyse Parliament, but President Paul Lohr preempts them by placing the amendments at the top of the agenda. The extremists are stunned. Their trap has backfired. The obstruction begins. The February 9th session transforms into an administrative nightmare, with demands for votes on every budget item, thousands of hours required, everything to paralyse Parliament. When the tricks fail, the chaos turns to shouts and chants. President Loeb expels the troublemakers, and with options running out, the decisive moment arrives. A dramatic walkout.
The Nazis leave singing and chanting, "Wake up, Germany." The communists chant "Death to Hitler," and the nationalists and peasants follow.
A communist deputy takes to the podium, delivering a symbolic insult to Parliament. A communist deputy hands the Speaker of Parliament a helmet and a baton, declaring them symbols of the Republic. The Speaker suspends the deputy's membership and cheers fill the chamber. Then the extremists disappear and the seats empty. Despite the uproar, Parliament passes the reforms unanimously, 303 to 0.
Outside the chamber, a war of accusations erupts. Nazis cry out for legitimacy, and communists accuse the state of dictatorship. Nazis completely withdraw from their positions, declaring a total boycott, but the state moves forward without them. The battle shifts to the press. Der Angriff and a number of other Nazi newspapers are banned, not only in Germany, but also in Czechoslovakia. This decision becomes a nationalist rallying cry for the Nazis, while the communist press also comes under pressure. In the end, both sides find themselves outside Parliament, under pressure from the state, each proclaiming itself the victim, while the Republic remains standing. The war on the press is escalating. Nazi and communist newspapers are being banned, and both sides are portraying themselves as victims, while the Republic holds firm under the pressure. Hitler is using this period to restructure the reserve militia into a highly disciplined army with direct loyalty to him, paving the way for a possible move against the traditional military establishment. Outside Germany, the world is changing at a dizzying pace. Record-breaking speeds, the first live television broadcast in Japan, parliaments becoming battlegrounds, assassination attempts in Albania, and the rise of new extremists in Britain led by Mosley. Internally, Germany is more tense than ever. Nazis are gaining popularity. The government is celebrating legislative victories, and communists are denouncing repression, while freedom of expression remains merely symbolic. The political future is uncertain, with the state cracking down on radical media and the Nazis restructuring their militia into a quasi-army under Hitler's command. Important questions are on the minds of the German people. Is the government simply cracking down on radical newspapers? Or is this just the beginning of a broader battle for control of the press? As the RSP consolidates its power under Hitler, how long will it take for the party to transform from a street militia into a real army? The Nazis claim to uphold the law, but with the banning of newspapers and the restructuring of the RSP, will they be able to keep this promise? And with the new laws intended to curb radical parties, will they actually reduce extremism or fuel political conflict? And how long will the Nazis and their allies remain outside the Reich? Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.